Hey guys, Stephanie here, and I'm coming back with just a small tutorial. I like to make tags, and by tags I mean these. And they're just great to put in your junk journal or on a gift, or I mean there's so many different uses for it. And these are really fun to make, and you can make them from just about anything. They're super cheap to make, and I'm going to show you a few examples. So I get these little packs they're like samples from like Vistaprint.com or Minted.com, like, you know, wedding invitation type things. Just, you know, any type of those things, and they all come with just little samples of paper, right? And you can take these papers and use them in your junk journal or whatever. But there's also going to be other paper, real nice, thick, basically they're paper samples. And they're so nice and thick, and they're just wonderful, and most of them are like canvas texture or, you know, really nice linen texture. There's a bunch of different. It's like these are all pieces, and they're all nice and thick. Like I don't know if you can see how thick they are, but they're nice and sturdy, right? This is all just examples, you know, of things that you can get and make tags out of. This is all junk, basically. I'm taking junk mail and I'm going to turn it into gold, in my opinion. So I have a couple here, and I chose some that are white on the back. I might not use that, to be honest. So this way I can use these, and I can just gesso this without having to worry about whatever. Or I can take a piece of paper, right, glue this side, put it on here, and then you have a nice backing to this tag. And then you can have this side to do whatever you want, you know, paint it, etc. So what we are going to do first is we are going to cut these. And the lovely thing about tags is, so you're going to have all kinds of pockets, all kinds of different size tucks and pockets and areas that you're going to want to see. I use these for junk journals, so you're going to have different areas that you're going to want to use the tags for. So you're going to want different sizes. And I'll show you an example here. I'm going to take this one and cut it, you know, somewhere about the middle, whatever. It's not an exact science. And it was so thick to cut through. I don't know if you heard that. But now I have two cute size tags. And I'll show you how to, I mean, you could also use these as ATC cards, you know, like, just use your junk. You don't have to throw it all away. You get junk mail, and you notice the paper's a little thicker than, you know, than regular paper, and you're like, you know what? Even if it does have both sides used, you can take white gesso, paint over this. If you did a layer or two of that, then you're good to go. You can take music paper, put it on top of here, and then use this side. So, I mean, it really is pretty flexible. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these down into tag size, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I have everything cut down to tag size. You know, they don't have to be perfect at all. Like, they don't have to be all the same size. A little variation. That's what makes everything unique. Every journal, every tag, that's what makes them unique. And I decided that I'm not going to acrylic paint these. I'm going to keep these sides completely blank and white. And then I have some homemade Mod Podge that I made that is goldish. It has a gold tint to it with some gold flecks and some, it's just really pretty. And so I'm going to use that on this, and it gives it like a little bit of a vintagey feel, almost like I coffee stained it. I may even coffee stain a couple of these. We'll see. I'm going to play it out. The other side I'm going to take and I'm going to glue. You just use either Aleene's Tacky Glue, or you can use your, matte medium, matte gel. You can use just a plain regular old glue stick. It does not matter. Use whatever type of glue that you want. And we are going to, or I'm going to rather, pick a page or two, probably 3 actually, because I want a little bit of difference out of my book here. And I will come back and show you how we're going to do the next step. Alright, so my next junk journal that I'm going to be doing is going to be based off of these pages that I have. I was just really inspired. They're all just so beautiful. And so these are going to be the inspiration behind my next junk journal. Obviously, these are the scraps that are left of the pages that I have cut up to fit the size of what is going to be my journal. So quite a bit left. I'm not going to use all of this, obviously, but I will be using some from each of these because I really do feel like there's a lot of cohesiveness, and obviously these are just going to be the background. It's just the first layer. The key to making a beautiful tag is lots and lots of layers. So I'm going to figure out how many of each tag I want to have of each type of paper, and I will jump right back. I'm sorry for all the cuts. But I don't want to, take up too much of your time, so I will be right back. Alright, now, all I did was cut my paper down to size, okay? And so we're going to be taking the paper, and we're going to make sure that the white part is down, okay? So that we don't have to worry about doing the back or anything like that, or if you do, you don't have to prepare it right with gesso, or, do what you want if you want to. That's the lovely thing about this. You can literally do it however you want. So I like to put something down just so I don't get my area all gross. And like I said, you can use any type of glue that you want. I usually use, what's it called? Glue stick? But I'm actually running a little low right this second. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my matte medium. And I'm just going to glue this side, and then going to put the paper on it, right? And obviously this is a little longer, so I can kind of get what I want in the picture. And I might even try to align one side so that I don't have to worry about cutting off too much excess. Super easy to cut. I wait for these to dry. I put them on a tray over on the side, wait for them to dry. Usually by the time I get to the last one, the first one's dry or mostly dry, and then, you just take your heat gun, dry it the rest of the way. But anyway, I'm going to take you along my journey here. I've jump cut quite a lot, and so I'm probably not for a little while. Just so you can see, I know I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch people journaling and, I'm a planner junkie, so I watch those, and I just go crazy watching YouTube videos. So, I know what I like to see while watching a YouTube video, and hopefully that's what you like as well. So, you don't have to be OCD or anything like that. Or if you are, totally cool. I'm a little bit picky, not gonna lie. So the main thing is that you want to make sure that you get your edges really well. Okay? That's the main thing. And if you notice it coming up a little bit, just put a little bit more glue. You don't have to worry about it. And I use this same ratty brush for all of my glue needs. That way I'm not, you know, messing up my regular brushes. But this looks good. And the great thing with matte medium, or really any of the glues, is that you don't have to worry about it if it gets on. It's really easy to come up. I use baby wipes a lot. I usually have a baby wipe handy, or I have a wet paper towel, something like that, just so you can wipe off the excess. And now obviously this isn't mixed media paper or watercolor paper, so it's not meant to have stuff on it, so it will warp. However, once it's dry, you just bend it back to place and it's totally fine. You don't have to worry about it at all. But there you go. Bits hanging off, obviously. When this is dry, you're just gonna come along and cut right along the edge. And there you go. You've got a tag. Now what you're also going to want is a hole punch. Okay. And I like to actually cut... get off of my scissors, you silly piece of paper. Anyway. Now I think that I want this side for the bottom. Okay. And so, I mean, listen, you can go on Pinterest and you can get a... what is that called? Like a guide, basically, and know where to cut this perfectly. I don't care enough. I did at the beginning, but I don't now. So I just kind of go with it. When I look at it, I see if I like it, and that looks good enough to me, so you hole punch, and look at that. You've got a tag. Like, that's literally how easy it is. It's wonderful. I love this. Normally I would wait until it's dry to do anything like I just did, but I probably don't even punch the hole actually until later, but I just wanted you to see. I mean, you're done. Like, if you want to, you're completely done. However, I like to take it a little bit further and do the whole junking of it. But that's how easy it is, you know. So let's go ahead and we'll do another one real quick. And I don't know where I want this. This paper is really cool, so like let's see. Yeah, maybe the bottom corner. Yeah, I think that's good. Alrighty. So, and at this point, you want to make sure that what you're putting on is like that Mod Podge that's there already is dry, so I don't have to worry about it. But if it's not, wipe it off really quick, so that way when you're putting this on there, it's not going to stick to it. And it also isn't going to get gunky on the other side, because you don't want gunky, right? So we're just gonna, you can see I'm being a little bit stingy, and I'm not entirely sure why. Usually I'm just like, glop it right on, whatever. Yeah, put as much as you want. The more you put on it though, the more it's gonna warp, the more the paper may wrinkle or warp as well. So I put a good amount and then I wipe. Now, yeah, I'm going to go with this side. And the good thing is, like, this stuff's pretty pliable and it's forgiving. And so, you know, if you don't have it in the right spot, you can move it. You have a little bit of time, you know, you can peel it off and try to go for it again. It's not that big a deal. I think a lot of the reason why people have a problem, or a lot of things that I've noticed while people are junk journaling or whatever, is you want to be too perfect. You know, you want things to look just so or just right. And I mean, I was the exact same way, but I mean, nothing's gonna get perfect. And honestly, like, I don't know, the happy little accidents kind of make everything better, in my opinion. I mean, I've had a couple of things where I was like, oh man, I didn't mean for that to happen. And then I kind of rolled with it because, you know, what are you going to do? And it ended up out, you know, turning out really freaking great. And so you just never know. And that's why, you know, you shouldn't try to be perfect. There's no reason to be. Crafting art, any type of art at all, it's all about, see, I get this little wrinkle here and I don't want that wrinkle. And so what I usually do is I have just this is actually an old hotel key, whatever. You just, you could also use like a bone folder if you wanted to, you know. You could also, I also like to use, sorry about my hand being in the way, just another piece of paper. You lay it down on top and go like this. And what that does is it just makes sure that, you know, if you did that on here, like you could wrinkle it, you could rip it, whatever. This just helps you do that, but without any of that risk. So there's a couple of different ways to do that. And you know, now it's good to go. You set that aside to dry. And I have a little tray over here that I'm putting them all on. So let's do one more. And then I'll do the rest. I got a small little pile here. Do one more together, then I'll do the rest and then bring you back after to show you what we're going to do next. So yeah, I really enjoy junk journaling. This is one of my favorite parts of it, is the decorating, and so I like to make sure that I'm getting a good tag set that matches my junk journal. I mean, and it doesn't have to be matchy, but good enough. I like this bottom corner here. I like that bottom corner. It looks really nice. So let's see if we have all the corners down. And really, like I said, this just makes sure that you don't have to worry about when you're doing whatever you're doing later that it's, you know, it comes up or whatever. Obviously, if it happens, it happens and you can fix it. It's not a big deal. This is just me trying to be a little preemptive. And so, yeah, let me go ahead and I'm going to do the rest of these and I'll bring you back. Alright, so now we're going to go through these and do the same thing that we did to the first one. We're just going to cut around the edge. And, you know, these are one of the first ones I did, so they should all be dry. However, if you're going a little quicker, you can always hit it with the heat gun. then you don't have to worry about it. It's one of my favorite things I ever bought was the dang heat gun, because I am an impatient person. And this is the nice thing about, you know, putting this paper on this nice thick cardstock is that, like, you don't have to worry about, when it comes to cutting, it kind of just follows that edge because it's thick. It doesn't want to cut through the thick part. It just wants to cut through the thin part. And I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly, but I'm sure you know what I mean. And this is what I meant about, you know, it warps or whatever, but when you're done, you can just, like, this is that first one we did, and it's nice and dry now. And, you know, there we go. Now, there's some things that you're going to want to pick out. Usually, at this point, okay, I'm going to scrap this one for right now. So, I just cut this, and at this point, without cutting the edges, or putting a hole in, I'm going to take my black archival ink, okay, and this is just something to add another layer. I'm going to take a nice text stamp, okay, and I am going to do some black text, and I like archival ink. It's nice and permanent. You don't have to worry about, and you don't have to worry about it smudging if you wanted to put Mod Podge on top, or if you wanted to put some other type of ink or something like that on top. You don't have to worry about it. Once it's on there, it's dry. Also, you don't have to put this straight. Like, you don't have to put this like here, or you don't have to put this straight like this, or along the edge. You can put it however you want to. Just make sure that you smoosh it all down. And there, it's just another layer, and it's probably going to be covered up, but in case this one spot isn't covered up, it just adds a nice little layer, right? So then you decide, okay, so I want it to face this way, right? So we're going to take, I want this to be a nice big fatty, so I'm going to cut it that way. How does this feel to me? I feel like that's good to me. Alright, so at this point, again, I'm not going to want to put the hole. Now, and the reason I'm going to wait until pretty much the last bit to put the hole is because on the back, like I said, I did want a Mod Podge, or put my homemade Mod Podge on top of the back just to give it that, it almost gives that like a leathery feel. It's really cool. So yeah, I'm going to want to do that, but I don't want it to, I've done this in the past where when I put, you know, it down, it goes in through the hole, and then you get like this big old, you know, I gessoed the back or whatever, and then I had like this big old white mark on the thing that I had just made look so pretty. So you don't want to do that. At this point though, I'm going to take some brown, okay, and you could do black, you could do whatever. I'm doing brown just because I got this whole cream thing going on, and I'm gonna go along the outside and just distress it, right? It gives it that old vintagey, kind of like a rusty-ish feel, and I really, really like that. And sometimes I'll do the brown first, and then I'll go around the very edge with the black, and that just kind of adds a little bit of a dimension too. And depending upon how this looks, you know, when I'm done with the whole set, I might go back at the very end and do that. And you may need to come back at some point. If you put a bunch of extra layers on here, like if you put some lace and it goes up to the edge, you know, you might want to come back. But I like to put this down first, put everything else on top. If I need to come back and put some more down on top of the lace or some ribbon or some paper or whatever else that I put on here, then I do so. However, this just, it stacks a layer real nice, okay? In my opinion. Do everything however you want to do it. Don't do it how somebody else is doing it. Take it and make it your own. Or follow. Heck, when I first started, I did everything, you know, how somebody else had done it, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I followed until I kind of found, oh, well, you know what? I don't really like that. Maybe if I do it this way, it's a little better. And then you do that. And eventually you find your own style, really, in my opinion. I like to put buttons on everything. I don't know why. I think they add a really cute touch. So at some point here, I might put a button or two. Well, that's a little pink. I didn't realize that was pink. I thought that it was clear like the others. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you might want to put a button or two on here. You know what I mean? So yeah, might do that. Also, you know, ribbon is also a really great thing. And you can put this any way you like. You can put it along the bottom, right? I think I might do something like that. So let's see, I'm going to cut off the edge that's messed up. I think this way is good, so I'll do it right there. And this is where this beautiful Aleene's Tacky Glue comes into play. This stuff is great. If you want to stick something down, use this. It will do it. It may take a little bit, but it sure does the trick. Alright, so make sure that this is the way that you want it. And this is definitely how I want this. Now, how adorable is that? And then obviously when this part dries, you're going to want to come along and snip. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you want to leave it. Totally cool. It's up to you. Do what you want. I like the idea of doing this. And then I have, let's see, some Tim Holtz words. And, you know, I don't know if I would want to do black or white for this. I don't know. You get the point. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 or 2 tags, and I'm going to bring you back. I don't have a sewing machine, and so what I'm going to have to use is my own poor little 2 hands to sew these buttons on here. And I'm sure that you do not want to watch that. So I will be right back. Okie dokie. So now we're going to do, I have these buttons on here, right? And I like to leave the little stringies because it just adds flavor. I found a sticker out of a different sticker pack. And it was just one of these $2 ones. Where'd it go? I just had it. That is so weird. Anyway, it was one of those $2 ones from Walmart. And it had Make Today Amazing, which I liked, but I just really liked the fact that it was more in the color scheme than the black and white thing. But I did want to go around it and This is something that I just like to do. Super easy, super simple, and it gives it, you know, it makes it stand out without doing anything crazy. And this is just the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen, and it's permanent. I don't have to worry about it smudging as well. Alright, so let's see. Next, I think I'm going to take some washi. And here's where the layers come in. So I got this really cool washi from the Target Dollar Spot. And I'm going to rip it a little bit. Okay. And we're going to put this here. Maybe I put it here. Yeah, I wanted it down a little bit further. Because the hole is going to go there. And where's my card? There we go, just to make sure it's down. Then I'm going to take some glue. Ooh, you know what? First, before I do this, I'm going to take my Aleene's Tacky Glue and just dot a little bit down there and put down this gold ribbon. Alright. Now we're going to put this down. I'm going to dry it really quick. And then we're going to stick one of these cute little hearts. Now I had some extra paper left from my paper pack. And I took a little stamper and stamped a heart so that we can have yet another cute little layer. Awesome. I love the way that looks. It looks super cute. Yeah. And so I think for now, I think this tag might be done. Now, when I go to put this in a tuck spot or my book and I notice that something else on the page, like this could benefit from that. Say there's some gold on the page and I just, you know, want a little bit more gold, right? This stuff dries so quick. It's so crazy. There you go. Now I have some gold on the tag. It matches the page. You know, just a for instance, if I should happen to see something like that on my page, then that helps this tag mesh a little bit better. You know, and so I don't like to cover up every little spot, but I do like to have, you know, a good amount of stuff on here because that's the point of it, right? It's supposed to be a cute little thingy. So anyway, now, oh, I don't want to do this yet. I want to show you the next step. Let this finish drying really quick and I'll be right back. All right, so this is where this next part comes in. I have a handy glue brush. This is what the back looks like. Okay, I cut off all the sides and stuff. This is all dry. It's all good. This is what the back looks like. It's a little bit of a hot mess, not gonna lie. So, very simply, I'm gonna do just a couple of things. I want to keep it mostly white because this isn't the interest part of the tag, but I do want to put some things here so that, you know, if you take it out, the tag out, and turn it around, you know, it looks nice. Not only that, but if you leave it mostly empty, maybe there's some spots for journaling or something. Now, that's not what this tag's going to be for, just because of the fact that I am going to be putting Mod Podge over the back, so, yeah. Now, let's see if we can't get most of these strings back here. Okay. I have an idea. I'm going to use this heart here. You move over, please. Okay. And then this heart here. And there we go. Now, this is the stuff that I made. I told you, this is homemade Mod Podge. Okay, so what I did was I took Elmer's glue. Literally, Elmer's glue. Because I didn't have any Mod Podge at the time, and it was just starting out. So, I took Elmer's glue. Let's say 3 parts Elmer's glue and 1 part water. Then, I actually got some of this matte medium, so I didn't need this anymore. But I did want to make something super cool, and I found this, recipe. I took a little bit of coffee. I added, you know, a little bit of coffee. I added some of this gold that I had already mushed down into a little bit of water, so I made it, you know, actually work. And then I took a bunch of glitter, just regular fine glitter. And I don't know if you can see, there's that little bit of shine to it, right? But the coffee, I think, and the gold, it just gives it a really nice color. So instead of this being white, now it's going to have this cool, like, cream flavor to it. Not only that, but it's going to seal this back here, right? It also really cool because once it's dry, it gives it like this, I don't know, like a leathery-ish type of feel. And I really like that. So yeah, you don't need a huge amount. And I like my little lines to be good. So that's it. And if you want to let this dry and then come back and do another layer to make it darker, go for it. And so this is what the back of this looks like now. I don't know if you can, I don't know if the camera's going to catch the sparkle, but it's so cool. I love it. So now I'm going to take just this and I'm going to go around the edges. And this is just the finishing touch. We have one more thing to do after this, and that's it. We are done. And I really hope that you guys like this. I hope that it helped you. There are a million different ways to do tags. There really are. Just have fun with it. You know, go for it. Have fun with it. And honestly, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. And like I said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like button. You know, like, a like button. You're going to leave a like button. Make sure to leave a like. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button if you want to see the videos that I upload next. This is the last thing that we're going to do. I'm going to find that. And I'm going to there we go. Tag's done. Looks super cute, right? At least I think so anyway. And this is made from trash. And it looks awesome. So I hope that you liked it. If you did, like I said, leave a like. Comment if you have any tips, hints, suggestions, critical, comments, anything like that. I'm totally cool with it all. I will try to reply on everything, and I really enjoyed having you here today. Thanks.